The Lost Cryptids Conservatory, where we will shatter your reality to bring you closer to the truth.
But we have Sasquatch stories of them being in trees and then all of a sudden jumping out and running and stuff. So, but I think it's a leaf. The more I look at it, we'll keep looking at it for you guys. You know, I keep get more people in here. We'll do the original, and then I'll do the enhancement, I guess, again. Well, you know, leaves like oak and maple, they have outstretched limbs. You know, I mean that's what it is. It's either a Sasquatch or it's like some type of leaf debris hanging off the bucket. Now watch it slow down because when she goes all the way and pans, it almost looks like the leaf springs back, and it's going to be right before the video actually is reversed to go backwards. Right about there. You see how that bounced all the way kind of back? And then we'll play the enhancement right now. And then with the color change that I did and stuff, of course. And this just kind of helps smooth it out a little bit. That's all really it does. And the way you can work with older, like crappier resolution or smaller resolution and stuff, is to sometimes make it look vintage or make it look older, because that's what style cameras and stuff they were using. So sometimes you can bring out different colors and stuff to make it pop and all that, but it's not that hard and stuff. It could be black, it could be green. You know, it's just a dark colored. It could be dark colored green, and then it's in the shade, and which gives it another added a darkness of color. So I'm glad you guys have opinions about it. I mean, you know, I don't. We're not there. You know, I just think it's a leaf and stuff. You know, it's pretty most simplest explanation and stuff. So I thought that was pretty neat and stuff. You know, I kind of like looking at new videos and stuff that come out. All right, now we're going to put the link in the. I don't know what's going on. It's clicking on stuff. It's doing stuff. Yeah. Yeah, you know, just with a little time and effort, and you know, you can tweak it and stuff and really get, you know, when you tweak and enhance stuff the right way, you want to try to bring out the proper image of it and not force it to be whatever you want, you know, with, you know, make it darker and all this and all that. You're trying to get it the most clear picture of what it actually is that you can be, without deceiving and deception, and not actually distorting it out of just proportion that it's just becomes a completely false identity of what it actually would be and actually is and what you're actually trying to achieve. So like, you know, the title and stuff, it's gonna be a free for all and stuff. Anyone can kind of join. I didn't really have a planned show.
Yeah.
How are you doing and stuff? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm doing well tonight. Having a pretty good evening. I've been bouncing around on YouTube, visiting a few different streams. Saw you were getting ready to go live about an hour before you started. So I was I hit my notifications to come in here and hang out with you. I thought you
Yeah.
probably have something new to talk about, and that was some interesting footage that you pulled up there with the. As you said, that was a bulldozer. Is that the understanding?
Yeah, it was like a bobcat,
Okay.
a little piece of machinery and stuff. You can
Somebody
do a lot
owned
of
on the
stuff.
local farm to move stuff around and
Yeah,
stuff. Sure, yeah, little
yeah.
tractor. And where was that taken? Do you know?
I don't know actually. The original video is voiced over and stuff, and it didn't state where it was from.
Hmm.
So I have no idea, and I didn't really spend the time looking for it. Like I said, I was sick and stuff, but
Yeah.
uh,
No, I mean, I get it. I'd just be interested to know, what continent it was on. For instance, because if say it was
yeah,
in Southeast Asia, that could be a gibbon that we're looking at coming down out of that tree and taking off into the
I
brush.
believe it was in the United States
Yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming,
for sure.
if there's no description and I'm looking at something on YouTube and I'm on American YouTube, I generally assume it's in the US, but you never know. Did you see the video of the people on the motorcycles when they were riding through? That was in Southeast Asia, but they're riding through the rainforest, and there was a creature that runs out and takes off down the trail. One of the guys,
Yeah. The little person.
yeah,
I believe it what it was.
like an indigenous person, yeah, but they were claiming it was the orang pindeck when it first came out. But
Yeah, it was like it was a pygmy. It looked like
there's
a little pygmy dude.
uncontacted people, or not uncontacted, but like they don't interact with any of the societies around, and they live in like isolated pockets in the jungle out there and in
Could
caves
be.
and
I mean,
stuff. Even yeah,
those jungles are not explored by the Western civilization as much as we assume. Like Papua New Guinea and stuff. There's thousands and thousands of different tribes, uh, inhospitable terrain, and all sorts of craziness. And I mean, you can jump around at different spots like that.
yeah.
Even the interior of Africa, the African Congo, and there's places that really people have not set foot in,
Well, like
and yet
when we went to
white
Vietnam,
people
right?
have not set foot in. The tribes, of course, have.
Yeah, when we went to Vietnam, that was the first time that Westerners had set foot into those jungles in Southeast Asia and in Vietnam, and in the stuff that they encountered there was the first time that Westerners had encountered that sort of stuff. And they had some claims like they had, what was it, the rock apes, right?
Mm,
In
yeah,
Vietnam, very Bigfoot like reportings from soldiers that were stationed over there and were on tour in Vietnam. And they'd come back with these
yeah,
tales of primates of some kind that live in the forest. They could have been large monkeys, or the descriptions of them are kind of vague, just and they vary a little bit depending on when and where the reports are coming in from. But there were stories in this area going well back into like the 1800s if you look into it. But when it came into the forefront for, well, I guess it would have been the 1980s, because it was about a decade after Vietnam that people really started talking about that stuff. Have you ever looked into any of those
right.
parts?
I've heard stuff, watched some stuff and interviews from soldiers and stuff that look like they're telling the truth. And
You did?
what struck me was one of the stories that struck me was he said that they threw like sissies and stuff, like girls, like they threw underhand.
Yeah.
They weren't, you know they were pretty powerful and stuff, and they weren't really too accurate on their throw though, which
Yeah.
kind of seems opposite of what Sasquatch is. It seems like they're very accurate. Like if they want to hit you, they would, and they choose not to. But that soldier kind of described them as it was a very powerful. If you got hit, you would be done. But they weren't very accurate and stuff.
Yeah. So
Um,
that's somebody you interviewed?
no, that's stuff I've seen and stuff and watched.
Oh, that'd be cool if you had interviewed somebody like that. I'd be like, oh man, I want to
No,
check
no,
that
to
out.
find a Vietnam vet and actually try to vet that and stuff, and it'd be kind of hard and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I understand. This is more of a hobby thing that we do, right? This YouTube game. It's not something I'm going to go out and do investigative journalism on, but no, we work
Well,
on
I mean, you
articles and stuff
can
and
and
put them
stuff, but
online.
then it comes across, then you got to investigate the person, if that person's lying and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happened in Vietnam, and that it's easy to make up some story about some ape because some person's asking about it. But at
Well,
the
and
same
there
time,
and there
you would
are
think those people would come out and start talking about it at the end of their lives. It's like, hey, there's this one story I didn't tell my kids. Gather around.
right,
So,
and there are apes there are apes
oh
too, but
yeah, yeah,
there are primates in that area of the world. Gibbons are a species of ape that live in Southeast Asia, or a species that they're more than a species; it's a whole family. But there's a whole lot of them, and they tend to throw things underhanded. A thing about apes in general, we're the only genus of apes that I can think of that do throw things overhanded. Even like Australopithecines probably were not prone to throw things overhanded.
yeah. It's actually pretty hard to coordinate with your mind, and actually, that the baseball throw is kind of hard, and even like using the atlatl and the tools and stuff, that kind of mechanical throw and stuff is
Yeah,
equated to modern humans.
that really set us apart from the rest of the animal kingdom, being able to do those precision throws like that. And then we like develop things
Yeah,
that we use
yeah.
that same
Spears,
skill
the spear
set
throw.
with. Yeah, spears. We slings. Slings are you master
Yeah,
a sling, you can get accurate with that. That you throw those like you're underhanded too, though. You can be accurate underhanded, just most apes aren't. Humans are. Humans can be, but the other apes are really not too good at throwing things underhanded.
yeah. And so that the rock apes, were in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos, the border regions and stuff, because you hear about the special forces and stuff encountering them, which I don't. If they did, I don't think that'd be public knowledge, and But at the same time, they described them as more than like orangutans, more than just gibbons and the regular fauna,
Yeah.
regular animals and stuff that were there. They described them as a bit bigger and stuff, and more aggressive. Actually, went out and tried to attack people, and they did live in caves and stuff, is what they thought. And there was a lot of tunnels and caves and a lot of stuff going around. And when there's war and stuff going like that, I mean, you're pushing all sorts of animals out of the air. I mean, we were bombing stuff. It was hell. I mean, so who knows everything
I
that
think
got pushed
a
up? And there's
lot of it.
stories of big like insects and stuff and all sorts of creatures, encountering in the deep jungles, not just rock apes.
Yeah, I've heard the ones about the giant spiders. I think maybe they were encountering coconut crabs of some kind, like when they talk about that. But I mean, they say they were in the webs too. But the rock apes, I think some of it at least could have been Viet Cong and like ghillie suits just popping up and running off into the woods. Like what the heck's that? 'Cause, I mean, you see someone in a ghillie suit from the right angle, they do look very much like a mysterious primate.
Yeah, yeah. It's just very interesting because I mean, spin the globe and you go point at a country or continent. There's type of rock apes, wildmen, and Bigfoot type creatures,
Yeah.
historically and even in modern times. So there's obviously something going on. And like humans in different parts of the world, why wouldn't they be different? I mean, you can take a deer in North America and basically the species all over, and they're a little bit different, even though they kind of look like a deer, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
European elk and stuff are different than ours, and there's different stuff like that.
Well, you go to Europe and say elk, to them you're talking about what we'd call a moose. What they say when they say elk, they're talking about a moose. But we have caribou too. I mean that are varied over all these
Right, like
different
caribou
breeds.
and reindeer and
You know what's a good example of that within the same species is black bears. Oh my gosh, black bears have so much genetic
North
variety.
American
Yeah,
and
and
Asian.
yeah, even
Yeah, but
within
this
North
it's
America, there's little
it's but
pockets. where
They're about the same thing. There's the same bear, actually.
yeah. Well,
But the Asians way more aggressive. They actually are way more aggressive and do
oh yeah,
actively hunt
Asian
people.
black bears can be harmful to people, where American black bears generally aren't. For the most part, they can
And they're
be.
smaller too.
Yeah.
Asians are smaller. They grow smaller, but they actively attack people
Also,
all over from India and Southeast Asia and all that.